Hello and welcome. This video I'm taking a look at the 15th anniversary bundle and wondering if it's an aye or a no. So the bundle's been out for just over 2 weeks now. We've not seen any nerfs to a lot of the stuff that came with the bundle, which is refreshing. So let's dive in and see, is this worth it? Is it a good bundle or a bad bundle? So first off, let's have a look at the extras in the bundle. So we're getting the Federation Type 2 phaser pistol, circa 2285. So this is the one that we've seen in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. If you look at the film and you see them on Genesis, and when Kirk's shooting the Klingons, that's the weapon that we're seeing. The Starfleet Armoured Security Guard uniform from 2271. Gotta love the 80s for the uniforms, that's all I can say. You get a title of Cowboy Diplomat, so also a reference to cowboy diplomacy. Then we get 15 master keys, so they're bound to you, so you open up 15 lock boxes. 15 tech upgrades, again they're bound to you as well. Then you get 5 ship upgrade tokens. On a 6 ship bundle, they give you 5 upgrade tokens, so you can't even upgrade all of them to T6X, let alone X2. So that's something that they really need to look at, because I think this number of ship upgrade tokens has been the same for years now. So they've not taken into account X2 and the number of ships in the bundle. So hopefully they'll fix that on the 16th anniversary bundle. You also get 1 T6 ship coupon. Now, if you leave that in the box, you can trade that via the trading channel and to other players. The minute you open that box, that T6 coupon becomes bound to you. So if you're wanting an extra ship, fantastic. Or if you're wanting some of the EC, you've got that option there as well. And then you get 100 lobby. So you're not going to get much out of the store for that during the lobby sale, but lobby's lobby. So let's jump into the game and we'll have a look at the bundle in the store and then have a look at the ships and the accessories. So first off, we have the bundle. So time recording, we've got 5 days left on the introductory 25% off sale. So there we can see the uniform, the pistol, and there's your extras there in the bundle. See the Type 4 shuttlecraft. Now note that this is not a pet or a shuttle you can fly. This is purely off of the Art Royal. So let's have a look at what else we've got. So we get the T6 Pioneer 2 plus its current century variant, the Art Royal plus the Picard era variant, the Kerala, the Shangri-La, and the promo ship or lockbox ship in this box was the Theseus Miracle Worker Destroyer. Now that disappointed a lot of people. A lot of folk had hoped for the Mirror Warship, which would have been fantastic. It would have made this bundle sell like hotcakes. And some folk thought if they did the Mirror Warship, then they'd do a Constitution refit of it, which just wasn't going to happen. You know, the Mirror Warship isn't on the Constitution skeleton. It's from Discovery. And anybody that's seen a lot of my videos, you'll know my feelings on that show. So it hasn't had a refit version shown in either Discovery or Strange New Worlds yet. So that was pretty much a non-starter from there. And then you also get the T2 Exeter Cruiser refit, which then unlocks the Exeter variant for the Shangri-La. So you're getting effectively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ships plus your coupon, 7 ship bundle. Sounds quite good. With there the extras as we went through previously. So to look at the skins, that's the extra variant. So you have the one for the Shangri-La and one for the Pioneer 2. There's the Kitty Hawk, so the 25th century variant of the Art Royal, and the motion picture variant for the Theseus. So first up we have the Shangri-La. So I thought we'd take into K13, a quick rotate about it. I've done a Vanity Shield visual video for this ship as well, as along with the other ones included in the bundle. So everybody was really excited about this one. Getting the baby Connie 3, as a lot of people refer to it as, not understanding that this was the basis for the Constitution 3 and Picard. So all in all, art team, fantastic job with the ship model. And the fact that we put it onto the Constitution skeleton means that you could use the Constitution refit or any of the other skins there. And if you had the legendary versions of the TOS Connie or the, I'm trying to remember which one it is now, I think it's the Temporal variant of the Connie, it unlocked the original TOS Enterprise skin for it as well. So the ship itself, 5.3, perfect. So it can do dual heavy cans as well. So you see there, shown as available. So you can do CSV, you can do fire at will, beam overload, CRF even. So a lot of good firing options there. Now I've got this at X2, so I've got the additional 2 universal consoles there. But we have the 5 TAC, 2 Psi and 4 engineering as standard. So not a bad layout, no. Again, I'm trying not to put this into the meta terms because I'm not a meta player. And my DPS isn't that high, so I wouldn't class myself as such. The ship itself looks nice, good 5.3 layout, good number of consoles there, gives you a bit of flexibility. Look at the stations. So we've got Commander Command on the TAC station, so you've got Suppression Barrage 3 there. Then we've got the pilot on the Lieutenant Commander. We've got Lieutenant Commander Engineering, and then a Lieutenant Universal and Ensign Universal. So with the command, you also get the command mechanics here. So you could also do a torpedo build on this as well. I know some people have done it as a tank. The only thing it's missing is really is a tracked fire from the cruiser commands for that to be a fantastic option for a tank. And then we have the space trait from this. So that's clear for action. So when activating evasive maneuvers, you get plus 25% fire cycle haste. I've played about with this, and when you hit that with things such as the Fleet Power Network Array from the Awani, also the Gemini from, I can't remember what it was called now, the Premonition, and you do fire extremely fast. It is just a blur of colour, and depending on what weapons you're using, it is very, very impressive. Is it going to be one that's going to be on the meta builds? No, but it's not a bad trait. Then we have the console from this. This is the sequential warhead launcher, so it gives you plus 42.75, so if you couldn't just have made it 43. Starship projectile shield penetration, so for torp builds you're going to get a lot more shield pen with your torpedoes. Then it's loaded for bear, so what that does is it fires off 3 sets of torpedoes. So the first set says there, it knocks the shield subsystems, I'm going to get my teeth back in, offline for 10 seconds. So the first target you're going to hit, you knock its shields offline, make it a lot easier to destroy. Second hit, you're getting over 26,000 kinetic damage to that target. And then the third hit, up to 10 foes within a 2.5 kilometre radius are getting near enough 22k kinetic damage. So getting gripping enemies together with a grab well, firing this off, you're going to be doing quite a nice bit of damage. So all in all, not too bad. Now we'll move on to the next ship. Well, I'm going to go get the Pioneer 2. So here it is here with the motion picture era skin on it. So it does look extremely nice. Again, I do have a video going over the vanity shields in this. The only thing I don't get is the rear deflector. Don't quite get that with this ship, to be honest. The reason I'm showing this in the store is because I have the TOS skin on the ship at the moment, which we have here. For the ship itself, so this is a heavy frigate. Again, I've got the X2, so we've got a 5.3 weapon setup. No experimental weapon, unfortunately. Prefer this if this had been an escort to get that experimental weapon slot. So at the moment I'm running it as a cannon scatter volley build, so I've got my dual heavy cannons up the front here, but again we can do fire at will, beam of load, cannon rapid fire, torque build, whatever you fancy on this ship. So we've got 5 engineering, 2 site, 4 tack consoles, so if you're doing isomags, you've got plenty of slots there to fit them. The trait off of this one, a call to arms. So when surrounded, summon Pioneer reinforcements, up to 3 of them maximum. So you have to be surrounded by 7 enemies in order to trigger this. And it'll warp in a Pioneer class starship to give you some assistance. So similar to what we've seen in the trailer for the bundle. Is it useful? No. If you've got nothing else to put on it, fire in, slot it, and have fun with it. Or if you're just waiting for a pet summoner build, that'll give you some extra ships coming in. So the seating, so we've got a command engineer with pilot. As such, we have the pilot mechanic here, so that gives us the joys of being able to do that in it. And if you're turning at a time, you get to do barrel rolls. So always fun doing that in a starship. Then we have a Lieutenant Commander Universal Miracle Worker. Now, Miracle Worker is not exactly one of the best specialisations. It really needs a revamp, as quite a lot of players have said already, so won't dwell too much on that. Then we have another Lieutenant Commander Universal, Lieutenant Universal, and an Ensign Universal. So a lot of flexibility in the seating. You can do quite a few different builds with it. And then when we look at the console from this one, so this is the Ridge system. So it gives you a 10% cooldown reduction on pilot bridge officer abilities and 28.5 starship hull restoration. Not exactly great. The console itself is not performing as it should be at the moment. So the values and the actual impact are not reflective of what it should be. So it fires 5 salvos of homing missiles at 5-second intervals, which track the enemy. So upon detonation, each salvo deals 5 times the 287, well, call it 2880 kinetic damage there for up to 5 seconds in a 10k radius, decloaks enemy ships, disables their weapons for 10 seconds, and it was tested by other content creators, and no, it doesn't pull the assimilated scimitar in the Borg TFO, which I can't remember the name of at the moment. So it doesn't pull that out of Cloak, and I haven't tested it myself to see if it pulls any other NPCs out of Cloak or not. So for this itself, not that useful a console. The only thing it does give you is 25% accuracy and 150% flight speed, so it'll get you shifting, if nothing else. So that is the Pioneer 2. It's, again, the art team did a fantastic job with it. The console, once it's fixed, will need to be tested to see if it is going to have any use cases. So next up, we are going to be taking a look at the Ark Royal. So this is based off of the ship from Starfleet Command 2, which was released about 25 years ago, I think. So explains the design a bit. Again, art team knocked it out the park. You have several different options. You've got different cells, you've got open hangar bays option as well for the main hull. Is it the prettiest of ships? For me, no, not really. But that's not what I'm looking for in this ship. It's performance. So this ship broke the mold when it comes to carriers. So this is a Intel Science carrier, so it's got Intel on it, so it's looking up straight away. But the main thing that this ship has that no other science carrier has in the game is a secondary deflector. So Stu1701 has done a video explaining the secondary deflectors, and I'll have a link to that down below. No point in repeating what's already been said, but this was quite a big deal. So again, I've got this at X2, so we'll ignore the universal console slots there. So we've got 3 engineer, as you expect, 5 sci, 3 tac, and 2 hangar bays. So 2 bays of Type 7s, happy days for me. Can equip dual heavy cannons, so I've got this at the moment. I've got this as a kind of a dual sci build, but I've also done top sci on it as well. It's performed very well. Casual Sab's done a couple of vids in a live stream with this, and he's had some excellent results off of his builds on it. So his channel's linked in the description, so go and have a look if you haven't already seen them. So we have the Mine All Mine starship trait. So it's a mine created for every hangar launch, and it will teleport to the furthest foe and deal kinetic damage. So every time there's a launch from your hangar, whether or not anything actually launches, you're generating mines. And they'll hold position with you for 2 seconds, then they'll teleport in front of you, in front of a target, facing it. And it'll affect up to 9 targets in a 1 kilometer sphere, dealing 4378 kinetic damage with a 20% shield pen per mine. So you're getting 3 level 66 mines every time there's a higher launch trigger. It's going to your furthest enemy, and it's got a area of effect as well, only 1 kilometer, but still an AoE. So if you've fired off a grav well, got all your enemies together, your bays are launching, your mines are going to be doing damage. So it is quite a fun trait to play with, especially if you've got a mine build on, or if you're doing a top side with mines in the rear. So it's just more and more mines getting sent out, so that's not a bad thing. The stations themselves for the seating, so we've got Xi with Intel, so main one being the override substation systems 3. This main one, we can put Gravwell 3 on it as well. We have Temp, so for the Uncon meta, fantastic seating there. We do have a Lieutenant Commander tactical there, so I can do the Cannon Scatter Volley 2, and if I just select the right one, or if I'm doing tops, I do a top spread 3. And we've got the engine engineering, so it's good not having too much engineering seating on a ship. So with the OSS 3, I don't need to worry about doing emergency power to weapons, so I can get away with my emergency power to engines quite happily. And then I'll turn it universal, and I've just stuck a couple of side abilities in there. So really, really good seating, especially if you're doing the Uncon meta, which I know is a sore subject, and yes, I did do a video on it, as has tons of other people. So it's up to yourself whether you want to do Uncon, you don't want to do Uncon, you don't know what Uncon is. That's your view, and if you want to learn more about it, by all means have a look at Casual Sabs videos, my videos, McStews, Nick NB's. A lot of us have covered it, so you can get an idea behind it. So that's that, and then the console off of this one is the Scatter Packs and Weasels. So passives on it, you're getting 15% max shield capacity and 5% shield resistance. Shields in Star Trek Online are like shields in the JGA films, and that pretty much pointless. So passives, nothing to write home about. The activation on it though, you get 4 Wild Weasels and 4 Scatter Pack shuttles with level magnitude, whatever level magnitude will be. So the Wild Weasels even do attack and taunt. So if you want to get some threat away from yourself, there's one move there. The Scatter Pack, move to an untargeted enemy and explode into multiple warheads. And then upon detonation, each Scatter Pack shuttle deals 4 times 5,408 kinetic damage to up to 5 targets in a 2 kilometer radius. So when this came out originally, it was bugged. They have tried to fix it. I don't know if it is fully fixed yet. So, but again, have a look at Casual Sab's video on the Art Royal, and you'll get an idea of how good the console is. This is the Kerala. This is the motion picture themed Gagarin. Again, as with all the ships in the bundle, the art team's done a fantastic job with it. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, that all the ships come with the pulse phasers, but these are the standard ones, not upgradable. So in order to get the upgradable ones, you would either have got them out of an event last year, or you can get them from lockboxes using the undiscovered weapons box, or from the exchange. And the exchange is probably going to be your best route. So the ship itself is a 4-4, so normally prefer 5-3, but there is a reason for it being a 4-4. Then we have the 5 engineering, 2 science, 4 tax. So again, good isomag console layout here. X2, so we ignore the universals. Station wise, got a command engineer temporal. So for the uncon meta, temporal is a great seating. We have a lieutenant commander command universal, so you could run your concentrate firepower 3 there and use this as a torpedo boat if you wanted to. Then we have the lieutenant commander tack, lieutenant tack, and ensign psi. So it's not a bad seating, but it's not the best. But it does give a bit of flexibility on what builds to do on it. This ship can also take the dual heavy cannon, so you can do a cannon build on it, beam build, torpedo build, whatever your heart desires really. The trait is probably one of the main reasons to get this if you do broadside builds. This is the broadside beam support. So during fireball or beam overload to a random target within 5 kilometers on your left and right broadside, you get an additional 696.9 phaser damage per weapon firing activation per weapon. So let's see here, we've got the 6 beams on this. So doing a fireball, all 6 beams going off, you get 6 times that off the trait. Then another good reason to get the ship is the console. This is a broadside combat module. So in your broadside art, so your left and right of your ship, you're getting plus 25 Cat 1 all damage and plus 50 damage resistance rating. But then you're also getting the full broadside as the activation, and that's your 5 foes left and right, up to 10 hits over 5 seconds in the 90-degree arc. So it's 10 times over 5 seconds up to 5 foes, and your left and right 90-degree arcs is 5,291.2 phaser damage and 10,582.4 phaser damage. And it also applies impulse offline for 0.5 seconds per hit, with new targets refreshing the duration. Now, I know quite a few players have tested this and they're getting some good numbers off of both the trait and the console. So it's another Gagarin in the C-Store. The one that's there just now has the Entine Tactical Matrices, which is the Fire at Will extender, and it's a 5.3. So this is more like the mirror one with the 4.4 layout. So, the bundle itself, is it a good bundle? That's the question. Now, you'll notice that I didn't look at the Theseus, because the ship's been out for quite some time and there's plenty of videos on YouTube for that, so there's no reason to go over it. However, if you want to see it with the motion picture era theme skin on it, it's under the prototype, and there it is there. Again, art team did a great job with it. And then there's the Exeter there. So that's the updated skin for the Constitution. So, the bundle itself. So, again, some really lovely ships with some nice updated skins to them as well for the current era. The phaser, it's nice, it's not a must-have. The armour, I think I've only seen one person actually use it, to be honest, since it came out a couple of weeks ago. The rest of it, 15 master keys, the tech upgrades, the ship upgrade tokens, you're better off just doing through the Phoenix when that event's on, and since there's only 5 of them, it's not even enough to do all the ships once, let alone X2. The T6 coupon's good. If there's another ship in the store that you've got to look, you want to get as well, or if you just want some EC, and well, the lobby's lobby. So for me, the bundle, it was a no, but that's for me. And I think some of the problem is that I bought it because I do the videos with the vanity shields on them, so for the channel, in order to get it to grow, that was the main driving force, say spend money to make money. If I wasn't doing the channel, I wouldn't be doing this video for a start, but I wouldn't have bought this at the 25% off introductory sale. If I was going to get it, then I would probably wait till the 35% bundle sale. It's saving about 20 quid, give or take, on the bundle. But even then, I think the only ships I would have probably got out of it would have probably been the Kra for the console and the trait for any broadside builds that I do, and probably the Art Royal. Again, because it's a great ship overall. Shanganger looks nice, and it's great to have a Constitution class in the store that's not part of a bundle. That's always nice to have. The Pioneer's a fun ship, but I've got the likes of the Hydra, the Adamant, and several others that perform better for me. And the Theseus, I wasn't interested in that ship when it came out into the game. I'm still not that interested in it now. It's a fun ship, it's a good ship, but I think half the problem with the 15th anniversary bundle was you had all the perceived delay, everybody moaning that it had been pushed back for months when there had been no initial release date announced by DECA. DECA had swapped the events around, so we had the first part of the campaign event before the anniversary event this year. Last year we had the anniversary event, then the bundle, and then the first part of the campaign. So everybody mistook that as it being delayed rather than just being changed to the schedule, and kept harping on about it, shall we say. Then there was the lack of build up to it. There was tons of leaks. I seen the ships and what they were probably around about December time into January, and certainly the 4C store ones, the promotion one I hadn't seen. So the fact that there wasn't any real hype getting built up about the bundle, didn't seem to be any enthusiasm from DECA to try and promote this, even if it had been over the space of 2-3 weeks before the bundle released that they started to do what they did with 14th, showing us the ship with the different skins, and then during the maintenance they then announced all the stats on them and the bundle extras. That would have been better, I think. And for me, the promo ship just wasn't enticing. Had it been, as I said before, the Mirror Warship, then yeah, hands down, that would have been bought for personal reasons rather than business reasons, if you like. But all that being said, is the bundle worth it for you is the real question. Now, I love the motion picture era ship designs, and these ships look absolutely fantastic. There's no two ways about it. They really, really do. The art team, as I've said throughout the video, knocked this out of the park big time. Then there's spending this money on the bundle for yourself. Are you going to get the enjoyment out of it? Because that's what this is about. At the end of the day, it's your money, and it's what's going to get you the most enjoyment in the game. So if the answer is yes to that, then the bundle's worth it for yourself. Most reviews focus on the meta aspect of the game, and that's because these players that are doing the reviews, that's what they do day in and day out. You know, they're chasing DPS, they're looking for the best builds possible, and that's about 1%, maybe 2% of the player base. Most of the rest of the players don't know how to do a build on the ship. They do story missions, they do the events, and they're happy. Nothing wrong with that. Then there's the wannabes who spend fortunes on the game and still can't build a ship and still don't perform, and then start moaning at the ones that do for giving them wrong information. But there's always them in every game. So this video won't tell you to go and buy the bundle or not to buy the bundle. It's to let you see it. See that in game. I say there's plenty of review videos out there on each ship. There's plenty of build videos out there for each ship as well. Say I've done the visuals on all the TMP themed versions of these ships so far. The Pioneer did the original TOS one as well, and I will be doing the current skins. So the Kitty Hawk for the Art Royal, for example. I've already done the Gagarin. I might do the Plymouth, which is the extra skin on the Pioneer. I might even do the extra as well, as a Constitution, over the next few weeks, time permitting. But I say, if I was going to get anything out of this bundle, I'd have probably just used my T6 coupons that I've got that are unrestricted, and probably just bought the Kerala and the Art Royal that way, and been happy enough doing that. As they were over 2 weeks now since the bundle was launched, and I see the occasional Shangri-La flying about, the occasional Art Royal in some TFOs, but it's still the older ships that I'm seeing more and more in these environments. So the Odyssey variants, the Mirror Strike Wing Escort Angle, that's the meta ship at the moment. The Legendary Avenger, I see quite a few of them, but I don't see that many of this bundle flying about. So I think, as some have discussed already, it's been a flash in the pan kind of thing, that folk have bought the bundle, they've flown the ships for a week, and then went back to their favourite ship. And maybe taking a trait, maybe taking a console from this bundle and added it on to the build. But there are alternatives that have been out for quite some time. But it's a Space Barbie bundle at the end of the day, realistically. It's designed to attract you to the aesthetics of the motion picture era. Quite a lot of us grew up during that era, with the original series films, going into TNG. So it's probably aimed more at that than anything else. So for me, it was a bit of a disappointment overall. With it being the 15th anniversary of Star Trek Online, I think they've done a great job with the looks of the ships. I think you could have just done a bit more, especially being the first anniversary bundle under Deca. I think they could have either thrown in enough ship upgrades, for example, to X2, all of them. Probably, I know the Rathcan uniforms are in the Genesis bundle, which is probably why they weren't included in this one. Try and encourage you, if you want them, to go and buy that bundle as well. But even something other than the Starfleet Guards uniforms, those alternatives there. You know, they could even done the actual motion picture ones, you know, give them a bit of an update and the variations of them. Get thrown that in as well, or Spock's robes, for example. Could have done that. The shuttle, you know, they could have made that a playable ship. Not that there's actually anything to do apart from one mission and two missions and one TFO for shuttles. You know, it's not exactly a mainstream game, but flying about in the Star Trek film shuttle, yeah, could have been fun for a while, if nothing else. And certainly the promo ship, and I think that makes or breaks a bundle realistically. We looked at the 14th, you know, with the Tal Shiar adapted destroyer in it. The feedback was not positive. Now, a lot of those ships turned out to be absolutely fantastic ships within that bundle. You know, you've got the Awani, which Type 7 shuttles and the Fleet Power Network array, you know, without a doubt. The Atlantis, superb. So, the 14th bundle, the ships certainly made up for the disappointment of the promo ship. And I don't know if this bundle does. For me, it doesn't for me. And it's one of these ones where I can go round and round in my head and go, they look great. There's a couple of good things in it. You know, the top console of the Shangri-La, for example, would be probably helpful, if not meta impacting for my torpedo build. The trait in the console off of the Kerala for my broadside build, so like my Eternal Lexington, for example. You know, I can just fly around in circles and just shoot everything. Certainly the Art Royal is probably my go-to at the moment for doing a Psy build, and having the Type 7s on it as well is great. But I could have got the 2 ships or the 3 ships with coupons for nothing. So, and to be honest with you, as I said earlier, if I hadn't been doing the Vanity Shield videos for it to try and get the channel, you know, moving a bit, then I wouldn't have bought the bundle. But as I said though, if you like the ships, you want all of the ships, and you're going to enjoy it, by all means get it. If there's only 1 or 2 that you're after, unrestricted coupons, probably the best way to go. So for example, the anniversary one from January, you could use that to get one of these ships. Event campaigns you can't, because they are restricted to anything over 2 years old, according to customer support, even though the restrictions on it said anything in the new tab. But you still can't use it for the 13th anniversary ships. So yeah, I'm just going to wrap that up, because otherwise I will just go round and round and round in circles about it. So yes, so here's hoping the 16th, you know, that Deck will take some feedback on board, because they are very willing to remember and listen to the feedback. So wrapping up, I will link Stu 1701's video about the secondary deflectors in the description below. I've already got Casual Sab, Nick NB and MC Stu's YouTube and Twitch channels in there. So again, they've done some takes on this bundle, as well as some builds and that on the ship. So definitely go and check those guys out. My usual social media's there, as well as the STO wiki and the main Star Trek Online news blog. So until the next video, which will probably be back to business as usual with some Vanity Shields. I do have quite a list of ships still to get through. Or the next live stream, which I do on a Sunday, around about 20-30 hours UK time. So by all means stop by, and if there's ships you want to see that I have, I'll certainly do some time with them. Even if you just want to see the visuals on it with different shields, hop on the live stream, ask away. More than happy to accommodate. So, until then, thank you all very much for watching.